Richard, all eyes have been pretty much keenly trained on India today because of the union budget. Is it because, as the government says, India is one of the bright spots when there is a sense of global economic gloom?
Yeah, you had, I think, a couple of conflicting pressures in terms of what the budget might focus on. First, of course, you've got 10 state elections, and we're only a year away from the national election. And you know the kind of pressures that kind of indicates to the government in terms of kind of programs it might want to roll out to help shore up voter support. But on the other side, India hosting the G20 and some global supply chain flows, an opportunity for India to send up a flare that they really are ready to try to attract a lot of those global supply chains that are looking for alternatives at this unique point in time. So, you know, what we saw, I think, is two conflicting pressures, and all eyes were eagerly seeing how the finance ministry managed to deal with these two things simultaneously.
So, how would you rate the budget in terms of the expectations from an outsider's perspective?
I think it was fairly conservative. You know, you didn't see necessarily as many immediate programs that would, at least not new ones. You saw a recasting, for instance, of the green hydrogen mission and things like that. You did see some slight adjustments that were made in a range of customs duties to help India try to win some global supply chains, but it was very narrow. You saw it in cell phones and TVs, some food products, particularly fish foods. And then you saw customs duty increases in a few other areas like cars and electric mobility and things like that. But not a long list. So versus I think the Modi government's earlier budgets that were very focused on protectionism, and you saw a lot more duty increases than decreases. This one I think was a lot more conservative, and I don't think is going to necessarily harm sort of those trade partner sentiments as some prior budgets would. But almost no references to India trying to take another big plunge in looking at encouraging foreign direct investment. So from an outsider, pretty good on trade, not so much on the foreign investment side, but a lot of those announcements happen outside the budget these days too. So, you know, we'll continue waiting and seeing every day to see if there's new announcements coming.
What about the allocation for green transition, energy transition that we saw? Do you think it's adequate considering that India is focusing on energy transition as well as electric vehicles?
Yeah, I think India has obviously a unique point in time to try to pull in some investment on electric mobility, and you know, similarly, you've seen other programs, mostly outside the budget, that are trying to incentivize companies that will begin producing so many other the elements that will go into green transition, solar panels and things like that. You know, for this budget, you didn't see a lot of new, novel things necessarily. A lot of that is handled, you know, outside the budget. You've seen programs announced kind of mid-year. But, you know, really, at the end of the day, the most vital elements also sort of buried in references in the budget. You know, when you think about green transition, so much of it is going to be on these huge renewable energy targets the government is setting. And a lot of the renewable energy targets really kind of rely on whether the state governments can actually run functioning distribution companies to earn enough money to invest in new types of energy output. And there, you know, again, the finance ministry will continue this program of allowing states to breach their debt limits if they undertake certain energy-focused reforms. So you see some seeds, I think, that the government has planted to try to get things right for the green transition. So some direct stuff on electric mobility, but a lot of indirect stuff that are going to help states improve their own fiscal operations on energy and allow them to reinvest in new stuff.